Our luminary sister, Audre Lorde, instructed and warned us. In order to perpetuate itself, every oppression must corrupt or distort those various sources of power within the culture of the oppressed that can provide energy for change. For women, this has meant a suppression of the erotic as a considered source of power and information within our lives. Lorde says this in her piece, Uses of the Erotic as Power. Think about it. The erotic, a source of power, a source of information, a source providing energy for change. If it is all that, can do all that, is it any wonder that exploitive, oppressive, predatory powers that be would be invested in the suppression of the erotic? I want us to consider the difference between these two songs. One Direction's song, What Makes You Beautiful, and another sister luminary, Erykah Badu's song, Kiss Me on My Neck. You're insecure, don't know what for, you're turning heads when you walk through the door, don't need makeup to cover up, being the way that you are is enough. Everyone else in the room can see it, everyone else but you. Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flipped your hair gets me overwhelmed, but when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell. You don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. If only you saw what I can see, you'll understand why I want you so desperately. Right now, I'm looking at you and I can't believe you don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. That versus, I want somebody to walk up behind me and kiss me on my neck and breathe on my neck. Been such a long time, I forgot that I was fine. Just kiss me on my neck and breathe on my neck. If you want to feel me, better be divine. Bring me water, water for my mind. Give me nothing. Breathe love in my air. Don't abuse me, no, because these herbs are rare. The erotic, a source of power, a source of information, a source providing energy for change. Cut off from that source? Audre says, we have been taught to suspect this resource, vilified, abused, and devalued within Western society. So cut off from that source? We don't know we're beautiful. Our heads, in body or in spirit, are bowed in insecurity. And we are told that this is what makes us beautiful, desirable, that we don't know a source of our power, the erotic. But in command of those powers, what information is available to us? What energy for change? Touching, sensing into the erotic source within us, but I dare say, not just within us, but for some of us at the tips of our tongues, fingers, eyelashes, at the surface of the skin, however we may sense, all the ways we may sense in these varied bodies. Touching, sensing into the erotic source within us, we remember we are fine because, let's be honest, sometimes we can forget. No shade directed at the woman or other humans who smile at the ground and don't know that the way they move their hair or adorn their bodies or moisturize their skin or fill in the blank. No shade directed at us when we forget or have never known our fineness. The matter here is that instead of being encouraged to come into our erotic powers, be with them, have them be with us, use them. A society turning on the linchpin of our disempowerment and all kinds of disempowerment, a society turning on the linchpin of our disempowerment don't want us to know what we got. Because if we do, we might dare to call for the lovers that we need in our lives. I want somebody to walk up behind me and kiss me on my neck and breathe on my neck. And by the way, if you want to feel me, better be divine. Bring me water, water for my mind. Give me nothing, breathe love in my air. Don't abuse me, no, 'cause these herbs are rare. We might say, I need this physical nourishment and this mental nourishment, so bring your kiss, your breath, and food for my mind and soul instead of waiting to see what someone will give us as we insecurely smile at the ground. We might, in touch with, in relationship with our erotic power, dare to expect, pursue, make such fullness in other areas of our lives. What does the Sister Audrey say? She says, another important way in which the erotic connection functions is the open and fearless underlining of my capacity for joy, in the way my body stretches to music and opens into response, hearkening to its deepest rhythm, so every level upon which I sense also opens to the erotically satisfying experience, whether it is dancing, building a bookcase, writing a poem, examining an idea. She continues to say, that self-connection shared is a measure of the joy which I know myself to be capable of feeling, a reminder of my capacity for feeling. And that deep and irreplaceable knowledge of my capacity for joy comes to demand from all of my life that it be lived with the knowledge that such satisfaction is possible and does not have to be called marriage, nor God, nor an afterlife. She says, this is one reason why the erotic is so feared and so often relegated to the bedroom alone when it is recognized at all. For once we begin to feel deeply all the aspects of our lives, we begin to demand from ourselves and from our life pursuits that they feel in accordance with that joy which we know ourselves to be capable of. Our erotic knowledge empowers us, becomes a lens through which we scrutinize all aspects of our existence, forcing us to evaluate those aspects honestly in terms of their relative meaning within our lives. And this is a grave responsibility, she says, projected from within each of us, not to settle for the convenient, the shoddy, the conventionally expected, nor the merely safe. When the executive director at the organization at which I now work circled back to me months after I did not get a position for which I applied to see if I was still in search of a job, which I was desperately after being unemployed for a year, after getting a divorce and becoming a single mother again, it felt like someone had walked up behind me and kissed me on my neck. This was an organization I really wanted to work for. And when the ED, when she came back around to me, because she and others had recognized something in me, it wasn't a matter of me tying my worth to a job offer. By the time she came back around to me, I had remembered that I was fine. And that was a feat. After years of doing the unpaid work of mothering, some of those years as a wife, after years of being and underpaid as an artist, it was a feat to even dream of work that would pay me for the administration and the artistry I had been doing for years. I didn't remember I was fine by myself. My community helped me to reconstitute and remember myself, helped me with my resume, and just generally reflected back to me my worth by caring for me. This is no small feat, reflecting back to me my worth, as I come from parents whose dreams deferred, a la Langston Hughes, exploded through the lives of their children and filled us with shrapnel. It is no small feat to know my worth. Though we're not talking about capitalism's value framework, let's not get it twisted, because Audrey did not. What did she say? Our children cannot dream unless they live. They cannot live unless they are nourished. Hear her when she says this in her piece, Poetry is Not a Luxury. And as a former child who has gone hungry, I agree. So I will say this. I cannot be erotic unless I live. I cannot live unless I am nourished. Getting a paycheck for work that is meaningful to me at that, after a year of unemployment and a pandemic that contained within it a separation and divorce, after a life of being unpaid and underpaid for my work as a Black woman and mother, wife, caregiver, getting a paycheck is about eating, having shelter, providing for my children, having the basic necessities of life when so much circumscribes and straight up extinguishes Black life. Getting a paycheck is about life, implicated as I am in this capitalist project. Getting a paycheck is about life, and life is a prerequisite for the erotic. I cannot give or receive pleasure, cannot know my capacity for joy if I cannot eat, if I am not alive. The erotic, a source of power, a source of information, a source providing energy for change. What are the implications and applications of this for liberation and freedom as a Black woman? What about for my people? I ask and begin to answer myself. I ask and begin to answer as I imagine a luminary Black woman song as being sung by the erotic itself, an abandoned, suppressed, neglected, abused entity in our lives, singing. It wants to be remembered. It wants to be kissed on its neck and to remember how fine it is. It wants to be returned to its position of honor and use. It is saying, it is singing. If you want to feel me, baby, better be divine. Bring me water for these flowers growing out my mind. Give me nothing, just be gentle, breathe love in my air. Use me, don't abuse me, love me, 'cause these arms are rare. The erotic, rare, unique, like no other source of power. What dreams, struggles, and victories may come if we remembered that it was fine.